If you're going to be in commercials, if you're going to be out doing this, if you're going to be drawing attention to yourself, like, listen, you're going to have to perform because you're immediately giving people ammo. You're immediately giving your organization a thought that, oh, his focus is not 100% on football. So I like players that come out and speak because it's kind of backing them in a hole where they have to perform, because now you're putting yourself out there whenever you're on a television show, doing commercials, all the things that Baker Mayfield has done. By the way, I like that he's done them. I'm a big fan of people doing that because, like I said, you're putting yourself against the wall to perform. Odell Beckham, all the things that have happened with Odell Beckham, you name it. He's an elite player, though, so I think he's earned the right to do that. But when you do that, things like this are going to potentially come if any bad times fall. Jarvis Landry, Freddie Kitchens, the entire Cleveland Browns operation has been thrusted into the spotlight. So now you have to perform or everybody's going to bury you, which is what's happening right now. Because last night, the San Francisco 49ers made the Cleveland Browns look like a high school football team. Mm-hmm. They looked terrible. Baker Mayfield was scrambling for his life. He threw terrible passes. He fumbled, made bad decisions. Then the bad decision began when he decided to shave that beard. I would argue that was his first bad decision that led to many other bad decisions. And bad decisions, whenever you start making them, they just start to compound on top of each other and they just start rolling until something stops it. And last night, there was nothing stopping bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. Odell Beckham Jr. in that fourth quarter caught a punt over his head, by the way, which is very difficult to do. You see a lot of people not catch punts because how hard it is to catch punts. Odell caught that punt over his head like it was a pass, probably coming in end over end, by the way. It wasn't even a spiral punt. That thing was just coming in, and he just snagged that thing. Then he's running with it one hand, trying to make a play, which is what Odell does, by the way. And I would argue that Odell Beckham's one hand is probably stronger than most people's arm. If you see the way he can catch balls, and he probably does these brick exercises, he works his ass off probably to be able to do that. But then when the ball comes out, nobody cares about those one-handed catches. Nobody cares about the brick exercises. Nobody cares about how talented they are. All they want to say is, well, that's what you get for running with the ball like that. That's all anybody wants to say. And that led me to think, that is this the time that Odell Beckham's going to turn? Because with that fumble late, now people are going to start saying things about him negative, right? People are going to be like, well, you fumbled a punt. I think he dropped one that he normally would have caught early. Now, granted, that was not a good throw. Baker Mayfield had a terrible evening. He was a bad quarterback last night, I think, by all accounts. And is that the Baker Mayfield we'll see going forward? Who knows? That's why I said the whoa to Rex Ryan, because I thought it was too early to say if he was overrated or not. We're still 19 games into his career or whatever. So I think it's too early to see if that's going to be Baker or if Baker's going to figure out how to get good or if Freddie Kitchens is going to make him better. Nobody knows any of these things, but Odell had a couple flaws last night where people are going to start judging Odell. People are going to be like, oh, hey, Odell, remember when you were wearing $1 Million Watch a couple weeks ago? I remember it too. You know what I also remember? You dropping a pass in the first quarter of Monday Night Football. You're only waiting for that to happen. And once shots start firing at him, which they hadn't, right? Because he wasn't getting the ball. He was the guy, like everybody was like, yo, Odell needs to get the ball more. No shots were being fired at Odell. Now shots are going to start coming at Odell. Will Odell continue to be professional? I hope so. I hope Odell will continue to take the high road. But boy, all roads lead to him saying, me. Let's talk about bing, bang, boom, 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 and just sawing down everybody. And I hope he doesn't do it. I don't know what he said last night. I just hope it doesn't happen. The people who wanted to hate the Browns got everything they could have possibly wanted last night, and then some, because they were trash, absolute trash.
Do you think Baker turns it up from here on out? Because if he like starts to kind of back off and not be the same guy, then everyone's going to come at him for being
what is he?
A stooge and a sellout.
8 of 22, 100 yards, 3 turnovers.
See, I think I could do that right now.
Yeah,
I think if I was to go play in the NFL, I think I could do that right now. Now, granted, I wouldn't pass a THC test for the life of me, which I would have to get back in. But I think a very standard, terrible quarterback could do that. And I went on an entire speech that said the dog pound doesn't deserve this. After the first episode of Hard Knocks last year, I said the dog pound does not deserve this. After being 1-31 in the last 2 years, after having that list of jerseys with quarterbacks where it's like 75 deep, the head coach of the Eagles is on that thing. It is like 14, 15 quarterbacks deep. They haven't won it all, but that fan base is just a loyal one. They love the Browns in Cleveland. The dog pound loves them. And I said, they don't deserve it. They're about to suck again. And it came to fruition until Baker came in and lit a spark. So then the dog pound is like, all these years of barking at games where we know we're going to lose is about to pay off. We got a guy. Yeah, I'm an Ohio State fan. Yeah, he put the flag into the thing, but we got a guy. This guy is our guy. So they got their hopes up all offseason. They were able to drink Bud Light after the big comeback victory in primetime when Baker came in the second half and won. Everything was looking the dog pound's way. These decades of suckness are all going to pay off. This is going to be the year that we go. Odell Beckham gets brought in. Oh, my God. One of the best wide receivers in the NFL, probably top 2 wide receiver, depending on who you're talking to in the NFL, has now joined our team. Cleveland's the hot spot. Freddie Kitchens, he's got the job. He knows Baker. He's friends with Baker. Drew Stanton's still there. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes and records a show on USA Network there. Everything is going. The hype machine's going. Here we go. Everybody's bought into this. This is going to be incredible. It's going to be electric because of what Baker Mayfield did last year. And then this year, and I would argue that this is harder on the dog pound.
Oh, yeah.
Than those 3 decades of suck.
When you have expectations?
Oh.
Do you fault them at all for buying in?
Yeah, no. I bought it.
Yeah.
I was all in.
I mean, 20 years. You had to have an idea.
Was
It's
Bob
something.
was Bob Wiley right when he said the head coach is out of Freddie Kitchens' league?
Well, I think we're going to learn that pretty quickly, especially with the lack of discipline on that team, the amount of penalties. You know, you have a lot of big personalities, and to have big personalities, you have to figure out how you can finesse them and massage them to be their own player without coming down too hard on them and sucking their personality out. I think Pete Carroll was able to do that for a long time in Seattle until he wasn't, right? Mm-hmm. Until he wasn't. And then that all out the door. Freddie Kitchens, I didn't know how he was going to be able to handle it all, but right now it looks like he's just getting whooped at the checkers table. I mean, the other coaches are just going, king me. Give me 2 of them things and bang, 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 coming back. And he's screaming at the other coach, it's hard to win when you never move your back row. And that's what's happening. This is a checkers game, and Freddie Kitchens is getting blasted off of the checker board.
Unbelievable.
And it's real, though. And for the dog pound, my heart is broken for them. Because all offseason, I was almost with them. I'm like, here we go. Cleveland's back. Good for the league. Cleveland Browns are back because the dog pound will get a chance to put on a show here. Because the dog pound is an electric fan base that has a real identity, a real personality. Not all fan bases have that. And now they come into the season with expectations of being halfway worth of crap. And they're just not. They are just bad right now. They're a bad football team. So the Cleveland Browns fan base, the dog pounds, are going into work this morning, whatever their job is, and they have to look across the aisle at somebody who's a Cincinnati Bengals fan or something else, and the Bengals fan's just sitting there. He's like, we're the Bungles, but we knew we were going to say. What's up with the Browns? They are bad at football.
It doesn't get much easier for them either. They go Seattle, New England, Denver's Denver, but then Buffalo. There's just 4 pretty tough defenses.
Okay, so let's go ahead and play the game called You Get an L, You Get an L, You Get an L, and You Get an L.